Yes.
Yes.
Do you have a low self-esteem?
No.
Have you ever had low self-esteem?
Yes.
And what caused it?
I don't know. I was unsatisfied with my life.
Unsatisfied with your life?
Correct.
What do you mean?
That's what I mean. I was unsatisfied.
Well, so like
I thought that I don't know. At certain times in my life, I thought that my life should be different, and I should have been, I don't know, either like more successful or had more money or done more things, that kind of a thing.
and that caused you to have a low self-esteem?
Yes, or what I thought was having low self-esteem.
What do you mean what you thought?
I mean, having low self-esteem. I mean, it's sort of like it seems to me kind of almost a made-up thing. Like it's like a projection you put on yourself, or you allow other people to put on you. It's like being depressed.
And so a low self-esteem feel like depression?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have a high self-esteem?
I don't really think about it like that. I don't think I have high or low self-esteem. I just am.
Oh, Lord.
I'm just content.
Do you have a low self-esteem, Joel? You bet.
I don't quite really understand what that means. Low self-esteem, lack of confidence or something?
Have you heard people say that they have a low self-esteem?
I haven't heard that in a very long time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that?
I'm not quite sure what it is. Like a lack of confidence, or...
How would you describe a low self-esteem?
To hold yourself sort of in a low regard, meaning you think that either people are better than you, or you think that you're lesser than what you could or should be.
I may have had...
But lack of confidence is also a part of that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lack of confidence, you say?
It's included in that, yeah.
A lack of confidence in what?
Yourself.
In yourself. Oh, okay.
I've more than sure I've had that at one point. I don't really have that now, as far as me believing that I'm less than, or people are more important than me. I don't believe that.
You think you're more important than them?
No. I guess that would mean high self-esteem. No, I mean, I think because the understanding I have now doesn't allow me to, of course Satan gets busy and tempts you to want to think you're better or stuff like that. But overall, in a general sense, I don't believe that I'm better or less than.
And so, I'm sorry, you say you never had it or you have had it?
No, I'm sure I've had it before.
Or low self-esteem?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I ever thought of myself less than other people, but I'm sure in some kind of ways I've had low self-esteem.
Nick, come here for a minute. I got to ask my producer. The anchor baby.
It sounds kind of weird. I've never heard it in that way.
I haven't heard it in a long time.
Yeah.
The word low self-esteem. But I was talking to someone yesterday who was like, had a very low self-esteem, they said. I'm like, well, I haven't heard those words in a while. I think they replaced those words with something else.
I think millennials use something different. That's what I'm trying to figure out what it means.
I think it may be called depression.
Oh, man.
Or post-traumatic stress disorder. Or something like that. The anchor baby.
Hello.
Oop. Why no?
Hello.
Yes, folks.
Clean shave.
That's still Nick.
It's not.
So 10 years younger.
He's taking the mask off, but that's him.
I didn't know I looked like this.
Have you seen this already, Chris?
Yeah, I saw him this morning.
It looks different on camera.
I didn't know I looked like this.
How I look on camera?
That was good.
More smooth, like he's ready for a commercial.
Fresh.
He said he looked good.
Colgate.
You can tell that he doesn't have a low self-esteem. He's like, I look good.
Looking sharp.
That's my producer. It's the same person.
It is.
You just have taken the mask off.
No Spanish.
Have you ever had a low self-esteem?
Yeah.
You have?
Oh, yeah.
And what does it feel
do I
like? What did
describe
it
it?
feel like?
You know, I describe, I think a good way of describing it, at least it was for me, it felt like, okay, well, at its surface, it was just like for me, it was like a hate of myself. It was like a self-loathing. It was like that's what it felt like. It was like how else can I explain it? It was a deep self-loathing of myself. And and anything I did but it was a state. It was more of like a state of being. Because when I was in that state of like low self-esteem, it wasn't like real. Because I would like go in and out of it. And it was, I bet you know how like you say that the ups and the downs are all fake?
Right.
It was kind of like that. I would feel good about myself, and I was fake. And I would think, wow, that was such a lie about myself, all the stuff I was saying. And then I would just find myself low again. And it was just a weird roller coaster. But when I was in that low self-esteem place, it was a self-loathing. I was like, you're an idiot. You're like the worst piece of crud ever.
Is it the same as what they call depression now, or
Probably.
it's just because I haven't heard before yesterday. I had not heard the words low self-esteem
It's
in
probably-
a while, so I forgot about it. But I think it's called depression.
Depression. I want to say that it's like a symptom of depression, but that sounds so dumb. It sounds like medical and
Have you
It's
been
deeper than
depressed
that.
before?
yeah,
It was the same feeling as low self-esteem.
yeah.
And what caused it?
I don't know. I was just like falling. Like, what kind? Let's be deep. Let's get deep. I was falling. I mean, I was depressed because I didn't. If just to get, I guess, more personal about it, is like I was just depressed because I wanted to be a certain way and do certain things, and I found myself unable to. I could see weaknesses, and I was like, oh man, I want to stop doing these things, like being people pleaser or being weak. And I'd be like, okay, and then I'd get a high self-esteem, like, wow, I think I got over it, and then it'll happen again, and I'd be like, oh, I'm the same piece of trash.
Well, I had heard, well, maybe ask you guys, because I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were telling me how they have a real low self-esteem. And then you can see that they did, because the way they carried themselves, the way they just look depressed or something. But they said it was a low self-esteem.
You can see it, and it's in the body, it's in
Yeah.
the way of being.
Amazing. And so are you over that now?
I think mostly, at least I'm over the whole like getting into the up and the down, and what I'm trying to say is like I'm over that whole roller coaster of, oh, I'm a piece of trash. Oh, I'm not a piece of trash. I'm just okay with myself. I'm just like, I'm okay with myself. I like myself. Like, and here's the thing. You know what I just realized? Well, not just realized, but I realized what I'm trying to say is that what I've always known about that roller coaster, the low self-esteem, that I've always known that it was this like fake identity, that it wasn't real, and that beneath it all there was like someone who was just happy with themselves and themselves, right?
Right.
So I think I'm coming to that.
Chris, you don't experience it at all anymore? Low self-esteem?
Low self-esteem. I'm kind of in the same boat as Nick, in that if I make a mistake or I'm unable to do something, if I don't have the skill set at the time to accomplish something, Satan will try to get in your head sometimes and hit you in the gut, and you'll have that feeling, but I don't really let it dictate how my day goes. It's just like, oh, I can't do that, or oh, I made a mistake, don't do that again. No, I don't feel low self-esteem.
How about you, Joel?
Yeah, well, now it's starting to make more sense, but I think it's different now when you start to recognize you know, what's really going on, that it's a spiritual battle and that Satan is really busy. And it's not like you don't have those moments where you believe into the thought and you feel it, but it's different now because you recognize that something's off. Like you either believe in a thought or that Satan is busy. Before, I'm sure I have, well, self-esteem has been a thing, just a negative image. I used to have like a negative image, especially in high school and stuff like that, of myself. And that came from just the lack of understanding what was really going on and what I was going through.
You had a negative image of yourself?
Yeah, if that's what low self-esteem meant. Just looking at yourself in a way
And so
to
you-
where like, what's wrong with you? You can't change. Nobody like you.
You felt all that?
Yeah, at a point in time.
Why are you laughing at him?
That just seems so funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Really?
because I mean, people have different circumstances that lead them to that, you know,
Right.
that way. Meaning, like, for example,
How old were you when you were thinking all
well,
that?
I mean, I went to
Look at me, I'm black, ain't no good.
well,
He didn't say that.
I went to 6 elementaries and four junior highs and
Well,
then
no
one high
wonder.
school, right? So when you move around that much and you know you're
Yeah, I
so
moved
used to
around.
not staying stable, then you never really feel like you fit into any kind of place. So then when you're kind of you feel like the outcast, you start to think, dang, you know. And then when you think you're already like you believe in certain values that people don't, and then when you talk about those things and they look at you like you're the weirdo, then eventually you start to think like maybe I'm off. And then you know I started to realize like okay, I wasn't the one that was off. It was just the rest of the world doing the worldly stuff.
So why
So,
your mother
it
was
got to
on the
that point.
run from the law? Why were you moving so much? Your
Well,
mama on the run?
I think it was I think she was just a single mom.
Was she running for the welfare people?
No, she just was a single mom, and I was in schools to where, and then she was just trying to, you know, survive, basically raising 3 kids.
By being on the run?
No, just by trying to keep us, you know, afloat. So then we would be in certain neighborhoods because of what we can afford, but then those schools were bad. So then we were like, okay, well, let's move them to better schools. So
Oh.
we were just, you know, experimenting in different neighborhoods with
No
the
wonder
money
you
we
didn't
had.
have time to learn to read. You're too busy moving.
I moved a lot.
Amazing.
Yeah, I moved a lot too.
You moved a lot too?
A lot of schools, and I was always the new guy. I got in a lot of fights in the new school. I'd always get into like a fight or something. I don't know, because I got it in my head that like, oh man, people don't like me. I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
like the new kid, and it was hard to make friends.
Why were you moving a lot to different schools?
I don't know.
How about you, Chris?
I never moved ever. I went to one elementary school, one junior high,
Solid
and
foundation.
one high school. They
Why-
were all in the same neighborhood.
White privilege.
Yeah.
I moved maybe twice. I went to school in Indiana when I was in like the 3rd grade or something like that. I forgot because I remember getting ran over by a car.
Wait.
Good times.
I was crossing the street to go home, and a car hit me and ran me over. I was like, what the?
What speed? What the heck?
Jeez. Did you get injured?
A little bit, but no one seemed to care.
You're alive, aren't you?
Okay.
And
you
then
went
I-
over the car?
So what?
You went over the car? Like it hit
No,
you?
it ran over me and knocked me
What
down.
the wheel went over you?
Yeah. Right in front of my house, too, because the school right across the street from where I was living in Indiana at the time.
What the?
And so I was just crossing the street. I didn't go to the walkway. I was trying to cross right in front of my house. And this car just came and ran over me.
Made out of steel or something.
I just got up and got my book back and went on home. I think they did stop for me, though, to see what was okay, if I remember correct. And then I went back to Alabama, and I went back to Gary, went to school for 1 year there at Edison High School. But other than that, I was stable in Alabama at school. I didn't travel everywhere. My parents were not on the run. One last question about this, because I'm talking to this person with the low self-esteem. Are you living life to the fullest?
If fullest means if in this context of this conversation, if fullest means like I never like feel that self-esteem, so low self-esteem, is that a fair way of describing it, or?
No, I'm just asking, are you living life to its fullest? You just living life.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And sometimes you don't.
Sometimes I don't.
And why sometimes you don't?
Because I don't think I've fully overcome that. Joel was just saying.
Who?
Joel was just saying that. When you realize that when you have this awareness of yourself, that battle with the self-esteem becomes different. That you're suddenly aware of the thoughts, that you don't fall into the thoughts and all that. But I still feel it sometimes. I still like feel it in the belly, right?
Right.
And so I don't think I've fully overcome. And it's true, you're right about that. When I feel it, I'm suddenly like aware, and it's amazing to see the battle. It's so crazy. But I don't think I've fully overcome, like you said, or maybe you said it, a negative self-image, I guess. I don't think I've fully overcome that. And the reason I know I haven't fully overcome it, even though I may tell myself that's not real, it's a fake image, I know I haven't fully overcome it because I still feel it sometimes.
Oh.
And so I think that holds you back. It holds me back from a full life, right? That being said, it's not, I'm making it sound so exact. It's not that bad. I live mostly at night. I have a pretty good life.
Recover.
It's pretty good, though. Like I said, sometimes.
Gerald, are you living life to its fullest? Like every day, are you getting up and just enjoying life? Like just amazing.
Not exactly.
Why not?
I have moments to where like I enjoy my life, and I'm grateful for where I'm at, and I don't like have a negative image of just where I'm at, meaning like, oh well, I'm not going anywhere.
Is it where I'm at or it's where I am?
Where I am.
Where's James when you need him? Where's Hank when you need him?
But to the fullest, as in I'm like on this roller coaster straight going to the fullest, I'm not there 100%.
And why not?
Just still learning how to be in that mindset. I just I go in and out, but I still enjoy my life.
You know what I'm talking about. It's mostly good.
How about you, Chris? Are you living life, just living it?
These guys are in their heads right now because
I'm aware.
I'm just doing what I do, and that's living your life to the fullest. There's this false reality out there that you'll see on the social media platforms and on television, and it's like, okay, this successful guy, I get up at 4 a.m. every single day, and then I exercise, and I eat this great meal, and then I go surfing, and then I have meetings, and I make a bunch of money, and then I travel, and
and walk around with a bottle of water.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, $5 bottle of water. I go to Starbucks, and people, as if people do that every single day, 7 days a week, 365. That's a false image, and people will see that and be like, "Oh, I don't do that, so I must not be living life to the fullest." And it's like, well, I get up and do stuff. I live my life. So
you're living it to the fullest.
Yeah.
How about those up and down moments that these two were talking about? When you have, sometimes you feel good, and then sometimes you feel like something's missing or something's wrong. How do you?
It doesn't really affect my day. It just. If and when that happens, I'm just like, oh, I need to change, or it's just like a signal for me to do something else or make a change in my life or learn something. It doesn't bother me in that kind of a way. It's just like I said, it's like a signal.
I want to be clear. I mean, Chris is right. People look at other people's lives and compare. These are usually just empty, but I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about seeing people, living their life to the fullest. I'm looking at someone else's life like, I wish I could have that life. I'm so okay with everything in my life. I'm so grateful. It's more it's the internal thing that I'm talking about. It's the feeling.
So when those
it has nothing to do with
feeling calm, it takes away from you living a full life. Just enjoying it daily.
Right. I mean,
it takes away from that.
It does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the same for you, Joel?
Well, I'm not quite sure what you mean.
When the feeling of like something's wrong or you're missing something.
As false as it is,
Right.
it happens, you know.
I don't know. I don't quite. I mean, I just know that.
You know how
Finding
it look like you're doing fine, and then you jump out of the plane, and the thing doesn't open up. You land flat on the ground.
So, like, if the thing you jump out the plane and then the parachute doesn't open up, and instead of living life to the fullest and being like, "Wow, this is amazing," you're like, "Oh no, I'm about to die."
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm not at the amazing I'm about to die place yet.
Amazing. Well, it's been a while since I heard the words, and I've done a lot of counseling. And it's been a while since I heard the words, oh, I have a low self-esteem. I've been hearing depression, suicidal thoughts, other stuff, but not low self-esteem. But I think it all means the same
Yeah.
because they changed the words to try to make you feel better
Right.
about being wrong. Interesting. I think that living life to the fullest every day include all of that, when your mind try to make you feel down, or when it try to make you feel up, or when you're just not feeling anything at all. It's just all a part of living life to its fullest.
Interesting.
So, okay.
So I'm living life to the fullest.
What?
Well, so based on perspective, you're basing it on like how you see living life to the fullest.
Because it's all part of living. What's a
Well, I just see
That's how I see it, though.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why I was saying that it's not a big deal.
you are in life? You're gonna have all kind of things happen along the road. You know, going down the road, you're gonna run into. Oh, I thought it says curse word. Start with S.
We need a PR guy.
And just going down the road, you're gonna run into all kinds of things, but you're still going down the road.
Right. Makes sense.
So I held Hank over just for a few minutes. I wanted to ask him about it. He's an expert as well,
Yes.
and he's like Jesus.
Whatever you say.
And so, do you have low self-esteem?
No.
Have you ever had it?
I don't know.
You don't know if you have it
Right.
or not. Oh,
I learned
You-
the term self-esteem because it was put in a textbook in like 4th or 5th grade. And it seemed off to be putting that in a textbook.
Yeah.
And I did not like that term. I wanted to rebel against. It's kind of like telling you what you're going to be or what you might have to deal with. And it just seemed completely out of place to put that in school.
do you know people who have had low self-esteem?
No.
Really? Yeah.
I think the people who claim to have low self-esteem don't.
Oh, do you know people who claim to have low self-esteem?
That's a good question. I feel like I've come across people who may have said things like that. I can't think of specifically.
I used to hear those words a lot, and not a lot, but there are people who were saying that they had low self-esteem. I had not heard those words, and I was thinking, well, maybe they replaced them with depression or suicidal thoughts or post-traumatic stress disorder, something. So they start, instead of calling it low self-esteem, they start. But you have never had it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
They've been pushing that stuff, and then when you get into 7th and 8th grade, they start pushing the teenagers like to rebel or be down in the dumps or they're going through changes. It's like trying to predict your life and teach you how to deal with life, but that's not what school is for.
I know.
It was so like insulting.
Amazing. Anyway, thank you, Hank.
All right, thank you.
Well, that's interesting because I think your generation, I think this whole low self-esteem thing, they have just changed the wording.
They call kids depressed now.
Yeah.
But no, I think that they still use self-esteem a little bit, but that's such a mild term. They have to use more dramatic language.
Right. Otherwise, they can't give you pills.
Before that, it seemed like it was called a lack of confidence.
Oh. Yeah, I heard that too.
Right.
Yeah.
Or insecure. insecurity.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right.
Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.